Well, our next guest is a nationally known attorney specializing in rights of employees. Ellen Simon is here with some insight about ongoing hot topics in the workplace. Ellen, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to start you off. We've got a lot to get to, so we're going to start off with compliance in off-site smoking bans. And I guess the question is, if employees don't comply with the off-site smoking bans, what can companies do? Can they dock pay? Can they change insurance premiums? What sort of penalties can be issued there?
Well, in Ohio, employers can terminate people for not smoking.
Right.
They can not hire people who smoke. There is an issue about whether or not that type of policy may have a discriminatory impact on a protected group. For example, there has been data that African Americans smoke at a higher rate than Caucasians. So it is theoretically possible that that type of policy could have a discriminatory effect on a protected group. But on an individual basis, people who smoke are not protected under the law.
Yeah, and I've heard about companies deciding to hire people based on whether they smoke or not, and that falls under the same type of thing as off-site smoking ban?
Right, and the slippery slope in this area is if we don't hire people who smoke, and it has nothing to do with someone's ability to do their job, then what about people who are overweight or people who go scuba diving or horseback riding? Where do we draw the line? So that's really, there are a lot of issues that are of concern to many people on this topic.
We hear sometimes about age discrimination. Is that something now that you see a lot of our baby boomers are starting to get worried about now?
Well, they should be worried about it. Through the many years that I have been working in this area, particularly in age discrimination, we've often seen in times of a downturn in the economy that people who are in their 50s are losing their jobs, and sometimes it is motivated by age, and it's certainly a terrible situation for people who are let go, don't have jobs, lose their health insurance, aren't old enough for Social Security, and that's why we have laws to protect older workers.
And now the baby boomers we see, I think the first baby boomer collected Social Security, I think. So baby boomers are getting into the 60s. So another question for you. Different companies offer different amounts of sick days for employees, and they all have their different standards on how they do that. But should there be a law, should there be a mandate on a certain number of sick days? Like, for example, you're mandated to provide at least 7 sick days. Is that something that should happen with companies, or is that something?
Well, that's a new law that groups in Ohio are trying to get, and I believe will be successful at getting on the ballot. And my understanding is that there are groups in other states throughout the country who are trying to get this on the ballot. And one of the reasons that it's so important is because about half of working people in Ohio get no sick days at their jobs.
Really?
So it's something like 42% of people have no sick days. So most of us maybe take that for granted. And companies with over 50 employees are required to give leave under the Family and Medical Leave Act, although that's not paid leave. But many people don't have sick days, and unfortunately they have to choose between going to work and paying the bills and taking care of themselves or a sick child. Then they end up going to work sick, and it's really pretty much not good for anyone.
Right. Sounds like there are a lot of employee issues. You could probably be here all day. We could.
I probably could
bring
be here all day.
Bring you in every day and talk about a lot of things. But we do appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you. One more thing.
Yes.
Go Browns.
Of course, go Browns. That's how to win people over right there. Hey, if you'd like more information or you'd like to contact Ellen, call 216-575-1002. The number's on your screen. She's an attorney with McCarthy, Levitt, Crystal, and Liffman in Cleveland. And we also have a link on newsnet5.com. Ellen, thanks again so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.